Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns news skates. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
Hello, Jeff Sharbles. My name is Ian Bagg. Darren Mallard is on assignment, and this is Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian, sometimes Millard. And there goes Lou to fight somebody.
Oh, he's going out to give it to somebody. I was just looking. We're wearing the same jacket this morning. A little chilly down in Long Beach.
Yes, yesterday. So I was walking the dogs yesterday morning, and Tom drives by me and he gives me a honk, and then I see him later in the day. He goes, "I drove by you at 11 o'clock this morning, and you were walking the dogs, and I see you in shorts and a shirt. And I look at my temperature gauge, and it's 61 degrees, and I'm like, that fucking Canadian." It was 40. It was 47 yesterday morning at about 7 a.m. though. That's chilly.
Yeah, you're wearing your shorts. I'll usually walk the dogs. I'll wear shorts. Really doesn't matter what time of year unless it's really windy. But you don't want to get the upper body cold. That's the legs can take it, but the upper body you gotta.
You don't
especially when you're as soft as we are now, because and some people would be going, now you guys have always been soft, which we're not going to argue, but we like to stay warm.
There's no need to just tease us about being soft. We're just nice people is what we are. Oh man,
right.
It snowed good the other day there. Of course, it's rained in Terrace. It snowed the other day. Really nice. Here's a picture of it. I got a picture of it right here. It's fantastic.
It's like a winter wonderland snow globe.
Winter wonderland, but it started raining yesterday. Now it's all gone.
Yeah. That's the problem.
As soon as that wind turns a little bit, it's done. It's done.
It comes from the south, and you better get ready for freezing rain followed by torrential rain. That's why
it's cold winter rain. Just the worst. It's just you will not warm up no matter what. It is just the worst. Yeah. Anyways,
and when it snows up there this time of year, it's nice because obviously we're getting into the holiday season, but it brightens it up because the days get pretty short. You trade it for the summertime when the days are super long. But yeah, this time of year with a little bit of snow on the mountains and in around town, not too much, keeps it bright and puts everyone in a festive mood. But they've been getting hit with weather, and we cannot get rain down here to save our life, so we need a little change.
I know we need a little bit of rain. I also whoever plowed my parents' driveway yesterday, thanks so much. Nobody knows who came in and did it, but whoever did it, thank you so much for plowing my mom and dad's driveway. Anybody come over and do your mom's?
Yeah, actually the neighbor did, so we got
love it.
Yeah, so mom called up to my brother Doug, goes, "Thanks for cleaning the driveway." He goes, "I was just on my way down there."
That's funny. Way to go, Dougie.
He's got the big snow blower, and so a little bit more. He lives up on the bench, so there's a little bit more snow up there. But the neighbor that. So thank you so much that's really cool. When people look out for other people, but specifically, mom. My mom grew up on the prairie, so there's nothing that'll stop her, right? She'd get out there.
Your mom would be out there in a second, just shoveling. And she'd have a grabber and fight through it, finish the driveway, and then go to the hospital.
Yeah, and then she'd have to work in the gift shop before she checked herself in, because the gift shop has to be open, and we have to drive sales. Even though I think she drives most of the sales herself.
Even though most of the Cokes go to her.
Yeah, we got lots of Kit Kats and coffee.
In between stints, she'd be getting stints. Good for her. I love it. Well, anyways, enough about weather and Terrace.
Yeah, we started off. Because we're cut. What's up?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm gonna go back. This is the season too, when you're going to hockey tournaments in that weather and you're driving in that weather. Oh, it's just incredible. I'm surprised there are not more incidents the way things happen. I remember me and my dad driving back from Prince Rupert one time. I don't know. I think we're in a Toyota, like a station wagon or something. My dad's driving. It goes, oh shit, here we go. We just started spinning. He goes, hold on, here we go.
And there's some places on that road you do not want to spin
You don't want to
because
spin.
the railway tracks is on one side and the river's on the other. So
It just happened to be one of those double wide areas too, so it was okay. Nothing was coming.
good. Gary knew when to spin. He was
Yeah.
like, "We're not spinning back there where it's dangerous. We'll do it up here. Call it
Let's
a
have some
joyride."
fun. I'll show you how you should do crossovers. Ooh.
That's we're in between today because the Four Nations rosters are going to be announced, and I guess my take on the Four Nations is I think it's a great start, but I don't think it's great for the NHL and the way they've handled their schedule to this point in the season.
So
And
many
what I
back-to-backs.
would say is, I hope they learn something from this because the Olympics is next year. We just cannot have, you can stay in the best hotels, you can fly around in your charter airplanes, but these guys, you have a product that you have to put on the ice as well. And, some of these teams have just been through the ringer. And I would say pretty much all the teams have. And I was looking at some of the scheduling. Winnipeg went through the ringer or is just done, still maybe going through Calgary, Vegas. And then you look at
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles is going on a 2-week road trip. Like I know
Yeah.
they're out on the West Coast. I get that. Vancouver's just been through the ringer. They're finishing up a 6-game trip. And some of these other teams, like everybody,
Los Angeles started the season with a two-week road trip.
Yeah, and they're going out, they're playing their home games this week, and then they go back out. And I don't know if they not play another game before Christmas. And I was thinking, what's going on down in crypto.com there in LA? Is the circus or was it New York? The circus comes into Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
right? But I don't know what's going on. Maybe Taylor Swift's doing 2 weeks of sold out shows at crypto.com or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that if that's got something to do with the Four Nations or something. Why they're doing a 2-week. Dana told me, and I haven't read about it yet, so I need to know.
Well, if you want to get out on the road, like then the Kings are just finishing up
It's
along
some wide open
Homestead.
road.
It is. It's long, the long and winding road. But I just look at the schedules. I've looked at most of the team's schedules. One of the things is if you're in the Eastern Conference or Eastern time zone, even I guess Central, let's just say the 2/3 of the East Coast, 2/3 of the country out there where majority of the teams are, at least you're a little bit closer, but it doesn't really make it any easier. But a lot of these teams like Ottawa was just out here for a 3-game trip, and a lot of go play on the road, day off, play at home stuff. I'm just saying something to look out for next year. I think they have to tweak it because they put a whole bunch of games in November for a bunch of these teams. And I just don't think the product is maybe what the NHL strives for. That's all.
My question is, do you want these games spread out because you don't want to have to work them so back to back to back?
No,
that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We got a television star, and I missed it. No, so last week was Thanksgiving, right? Last week was Thanksgiving here in America, and in Canada it was just business as usual.
Football Thursday,
and then Friday happens, and so every team in the league did not play on Thursday, and every team in the league basically played on Friday. You did the pregame, the interstitials, and the postgame on Script Sports, and that was your first game of the season for them, right?
I did a preseason game with.
That doesn't count.
I mean, okay, well, I did the studio
Does
when
it
they
pay
were
the
on
same?
the road. Okay, what do you want? You just tell me T-Mobile. First game I did at T-Mobile this year.
There we go. Yeah.
You pinned me down. I had to come up with the goods. So I did I worked with our friend Mallard on Friday night, Black Friday, or as in Vegas they called it Gold Friday because the Armory had their big sale on for the Friday. But You know, it was interesting because it was a late arriving crowd, traffic because of F1 and all that other stuff. Still a mess in Vegas. They take 3 months
that
to
already
put it up
happened?
and 2 months to take it down. What's that?
Is it already happened? Is F1 already
Yeah, it
happened?
happened. It happened the week before Thanksgiving.
It
So
was quiet this year. They really didn't make a big of huff about it, did they?
yeah, I mean, it was on. I think ESPN carried it. I think I watched.
Oh, but last year it was like, oh, it's
Oh
coming.
yeah, it was. You
It's
know what? It was
coming.
interesting. Last year, it seemed to me like there was a lot more of a 2.5 hour, 2 hour Chamber of Commerce commercial for Vegas. This year
Yeah.
was a lot more, not as much up above the strip and more, a lot more zeroed in on the cars. Like they weren't going to give anybody any free advertising that didn't buy it. So, but a lot of friends came in for it. And so, yeah, so they had the F1 and then the Knights were here this last weekend. And then, yeah, so it was good. We had a lot of fun doing the show with Mallard. He's just so good at what he does. I mean, people that watch any Golden Knights broadcast or ever watch anything to do with Darren Millard know how good he is, and he just makes it a lot of fun. Even though he likes to chirp me a little bit, I like to give it back to him a bit. But that's his domain. That's a home game for him. So I gotta just keep it simple. Off the glass and out against him because
You were fantastic. You did great. Looked like you had a lot of fun. You look great. Wore a nice suit with a lovely tie, as my wife said. Oh, look at his ties, looking good. So that was awesome. But you threw a teddy bear at one point, and
yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, no wonder Jeff didn't play baseball. That was
Yeah. Well, he goes and he chirps me. He goes, "Hey, so this Saturday, the Silver Knights are doing their annual teddy bear toss, and they are playing Austin. They're playing. It's ironic. The Stars come in and play Vegas on Friday night, and the Austin Stars come in and play the Silver Knights Friday and Saturday night. So I'll be there Saturday." And so he says, "Hey, take the bear, Lucky, or not the bear, Lucky, their mascot, the Silver Knights mascot,
Mhm.
and throw it at the camera." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll just throw it at the camera." And I was just trying to throw it so it landed just in front of the camera, just like right. And so I throw it, and he goes, "That would never make it over the glass," and just totally takes me down. And no one remembers anything about Friday night other than Mallard taking me down for
It
having
was
a buggy whip for an arm. So
he.
I hope we get a chance to throw something at the camera, maybe this Friday again, and I'll get up and rip it over top of the camera. I don't want to take anyone out, but
Yeah, it is. That's what you expect. You just whip it at the camera. I love it. He loves to set you up so he can take you down. It's pretty
yeah,
great. And the best part was everybody was calling you the captain, the co-pilot. They were just sneaking that in all over the place.
yeah. It's funny. He loves. Well, hockey is all about nicknames, right? So, and you don't always get the nickname you want either. So, I'll take either of those. But Mallard loves the nicknames. So he's got the Olympian with Darren Elliott when he's on, the Sheriff with Shane Knighty, the Sheriff. Everyone loves Shane. And then we just call Dave Gosher, Gosh. I call him the voice of the Golden Knights. He's awesome. So, yeah, Mallard likes to throw it around. And
Everybody gets a
so,
nickname.
what's that?
Everybody gets a nickname.
Yeah, everybody gets a nickname. And I remember, I might have said this a while ago. I remember introducing guys to my mom and dad, and I didn't even remember
Didn't
their
even know their
first
name.
name. I'm like, "Hey, mom and dad, this is Avy."
That's so
Like,
funny.
and that's Mike Avizoff, who we've talked about on the show before, who's just hilarious. And then yeah, there's all kinds of names. You're like,
There was a guy in Hazleton, and he used to beat the hell out of me every game. He was known as the baggage handler.
he's working on the ramp in Vancouver now for Air Canada.
So funny.
Well, but let's be honest. You were the biggest kid out there, so there wasn't anybody handling you.
When you went into Hazleton, they were just twice the lumber I was. It was amazing. I'm pretty sure they didn't have birth certificates there, and I was playing against 30-year-old men at 15. So
Yeah, you were probably playing against some 19 and 20-year-olds. I don't doubt that for 1 minute. And when you're going on the ice and the other team's all shaving, you're like, "What's going on here?" That's not
Every
right.
so often that would happen. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
I remember being 11 and Tony Hildebrand having leg hair, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Why do you look like my father?
What about Hazelton's a town that is just east of where we grew up. And I'll never forget, I don't know how many people have ever had this happen or been a part of it. We went to Hazelton to play them in some games, or we went on a Saturday, I believe it was, drove over there, and the ice surface was natural ice with a roof.
Naturalize. Yeah.
So the building was it was there and natural ice, and that's how we played on it. I remember
That
Ben
was the
Berjoni back in
chilliest
the
building
day.
ever.
What's that?
Chilliest building ever of all
Oh,
time.
it was crazy. And Ben, his feet froze. So what do you do when your feet froze? Your feet freeze at an ice rink. What do?
Go outside.
You put them in the toilet. Put them in the toilet
No way.
water. Yeah.
No way.
There's Ben putting his feet in the toilet. They're like, yeah, because his feet were so frozen. I'm like, hard to believe the toilet water's warmer, but it was. So
And everybody
that's
forgot to
how
flush.
he was.
Everybody
Oh
forgot to
yeah,
flush.
it was all clean as the toilet could be. Yeah,
Hazelton
and yeah,
toilet.
yeah. So that's
Oh
what you
my
do at a
God.
rink. You or
Those
turn the shower on.
those dressing rooms were just wood shacks attached to the side of the building. It was terrifyingly freezing. But
Yep.
But now, one of the most beautiful buildings up there. If you get a chance to go to Hazelton, check out their new rink and their facilities there. They've put together a great. They've raised money and it's just beautiful. So go check it out. And if you get a chance to go for a skate, go for a burn in there. They also had the just the back of the Zamboni on a tractor. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right too. I forgot about that. You're like, that's old school. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And the boards were just even.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? You wrap it around the boards there, it's coming right out into the slot.
I love it. Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Also on Friday, Carrie Ann, so watched a lot of hockey that day because she wanted to get her nails done, and the lady was watching hockey there. She was watching her Anaheim Ducks and LA Kings, and she said to me, and then Dana comes on the ice because the goalie had a skate blade, and he's got a fantastic haircut right now.
Oh, I love watching the Kings play just to see Dana's lid. He's always got it high and tight. You don't know whether he's getting ready to join the Marines or go out to the nightclub. Hey,
Jessie was she had to take two of the boys to Vegas this weekend for a ball tournament. She drove home on Sunday night, eight and a half
okay.
hours to get home to LA.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And they
Thanks
just
for
had
coming, stay. That's what it is. Thanks for coming, stay.
yeah, just stay until Monday. Were they also with Thanksgiving here last week? They had the Silver Sticks tournament. So we had teams in town from SoCal, Utah, Anchorage, and Fairbanks sent teams in. And you know, it's fun to watch when you see kids come from different parts of the country. Like you see the SoCal kids, like the Junior Kings were here, and I think the Junior Ducks, and then some teams from Utah. I don't obviously there's teams from somewhere other places, but what I really noticed about watching the kids from up north is how physical they were. Like,
Really?
you know, the game is still it's super fast, and there's times when it can be really physical. Not as physical and nowhere near the clutching and grabbing. Because they'll call it now. A couple of the games with the Alaska kids, they're there to put it on you, and no, there was no shenanigans. It was just hard hitting back and forth north south hockey. It's like wow, and just so it's always kind of interesting to see because in the Southwest here, right, you're gonna have those kids are gonna play, and you're probably a certain style of play. It's like no different than NHL where the Pacific Division plays a lot differently than the Metropolitan Division does back east.
Right.
I would say just because of the proximity, maybe, and maybe more rivalries between the cities on the East Coast. Not that they're not out here. Those games would tend to maybe be a little bit, quicker to fly off the handle. But yeah, that's the thing I noticed about the kids, especially from Alaska. Fairbanks team, really physical, but they didn't have a ton of kids, so they couldn't kind of maintain it. But it was good hockey. So It's fun.
Did they did you watch some of those games, right? Did any of your kids play in it?
Yeah. All the kids. I always try and go down and watch, and I'll go watch my buddies that are coaching their kids and check out their teams, and just to kind of see what's, keep an eye on what's going on locally and what the other teams from the other states or cities are doing. And so it was good. It was good to catch up with a lot of people, and who I was sitting there beside, and I didn't even realize Bruce Cassidy, coach of the Knights. So I'm standing there and I look over and I go, "Hey, Butchie," and I just went over and said hi. And I don't want to bug him; he's got enough going on. But his son was playing in the event too, so we had a chat for a few minutes, and
Look
then
at you, just a hobnobber this
I know.
weekend.
I
Just
you know
a
what.
hobnobber.
I'm thinking of my nephew right now, Kalen. He's like, "Oh, you're always name dropping." So I just went over and I just said hi, and I don't want to bother him because he's there trying to watch his kid, but it was literally an arm's length away. So it's like, I'll say hi to Butchie real quick, and then we had a chat, and that's it. So yeah.
I feel like I need to brag. I need to brag. Oh, I know. I did a show this weekend. This man and woman came up to me afterwards, and we're big fans. He's been listening to you since he was in space. They used to listen to you. They used to watch you or listen to comedy while they're in space. And he was on the space station for a while. I think Rob Kelly was a name, astronaut, retired colonel in the USAF. Now back on land. There you go. That's no Bruce Cassidy.
No, and you just Del Griffith me. The planes, trains, and automobiles. You just
I
one up
know.
me. That
I
was
had
a
to
good
do
one
some.
up though.
I had to do something for your nephew. I couldn't
That's
just
right. Kalen can now he can switch to you and be all over you.
yeah.
Listen to Lord Bagg bragging.
Hanging with hanging with the astronauts. Get your head
Yeah,
out of the clouds, kid.
yeah. He's got a great line. He's like, "You got to be careful when you bring the thunder. You don't want to get lost in the storm."
That's really funny.
Yeah, be careful
That's
when you
really
bring the
funny.
thunder that you don't get lost in the storm. And I believe that's not his, but it's one of the kids from Terrace that came up with that. So I kind of always get a chuckle out of that when thinking
That's so
Galen, one
funny.
of his buddies. So I want to say it's a Lindstrom, but I don't. I'll have to get that straightened around. I dropped the line. I didn't have anyone to give credit to, but be careful when you bring the thunder. You don't get lost in the storm. That's almost like you
That's
something you hear
funny.
at a monster truck rally Sunday,
Or
Sunday,
or
Sunday.
at a country concert, like up in Terrace. I would surprise you. When you bring the hail, make sure you can cover the co-payment for the insurance.
The co-payment. Well, the good news is a lot of places down in the States now, you can't get insurance, so you don't have to worry about the
Yeah,
co-payment anymore.
you're paying the whole thing yourself.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, not much really on the hockey front, just
D-
busy. I mean, other than
Not
tomorrow in the
much.
Four
Did you
Nations,
say not much?
not much because the big anticipation is today. So and for the Four
Tomorrow.
Nations.
Oh, no,
Here's the thing
today
though.
we're doing this the day before. So today, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, today. It'll be
So
out by now.
here's who I think of some of these guys around the league that aren't going to be in this Four Nations. Like obviously Ovechkin's not going to be in. Draisaitl. Like they're going to have a little burr under their saddle. Like it's like, how did you guys put these teams together? Like
Or
Canada, the
you kind of
US,
get a break too. So
yeah, and they get a huge break. But Canada and the US, you go, okay, because they're playing in Montreal and Boston. We get it. And these two teams, that's where, that's how they kind of have to do it because all the superstars are playing in the United States and Canada and the NHL. But I just kind of wonder about some of the other teams if countries, their noses are a little out
well,
of joint.
isn't Russia still they're still under suspension, aren't they? So
Yeah.
they can't do it. But you'd think they would have put a fifth team in, gone five nations, and just put it like they did a couple years ago. Do you remember they did that? They took a North American team. They should have put all of the rest of Europe, a NATO team or something.
Yeah, NATO. Well, Ovi would have would have a hard
But he
time
couldn't.
playing for NATO, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
Put Ovi on a team, put Draisaitl on a team. Yeah, have a combination. Go, hey, we're gonna put you guys in, and then just have everybody play. Have 4 games, play everybody once, and the top 2 guys play off for the championship. Done.
I think yeah. I don't know. Is it anybody you're expecting to see on either teams that you'd like to see that you don't think you're going to see on any of the teams?
Well, you probably have to wait till tomorrow till after I see the roster,
Okay,
but
then we'll do this. We'll do this next week. We'll hold on. We'll hold on this and we'll do it next week. Okay.
yeah, we'll have lots of time. I think what's going to be interesting is who, like, how are they going to? They're going to have to put extra people on there, right? So there's a name heard thrown out there yesterday, which I think is a really interesting name, Tom Wilson. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like
Is he American or is he
Canada,
Canadian?
he's Canadian. So I'll use him as an example, and I'll try and come up with a U.S. kid as well, and a Swede and a Finn next week.
Jorgen.
Yeah, I'll come up with them all. I'll come up with one of each. But the reason Tom Wilson, they're talking about putting him on the team, or the discussion was yesterday. It was listening to the NHL Network on the way to the rink. Is just to play a team like the U.S. It's going to have, you're going to have the Kachuk boys. You're going to have some gritty guys on that U.S. team, and they were like looking at the Canada and the U.S. These aren't going to be like giant redwoods that they're going to have on these teams. Some of these guys are not as like they're not in that 6'3", 6'4" category like a Tom Wilson is. So you're going to have, like, for the US, you're going to have Adam Fox on D. You're going to have Quinn Hughes on D. On Canada, you're going to have McCarr and probably Morrissey and Taves. And these guys are phenomenal players. There's no question. They change courses of games, but they're not the biggest guys in the world. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the GMs, supplement their teams. Billy Guerin's in charge of the States, and was it Don Sweeney's in charge of Canada?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see if they add a guy like a Tom Wilson, who can be a game changer in his own right. What about Mark Stone? Does Mark Stone, who's missed half the season now with an injury, sounds like he's getting ready to come back here in the next week or so, do they put him on the team? This Thatcher Demko, I'll just throw some. We've talked about Demko. Do they put him on as an alternate? Because right now I'm assuming they're going to go Hellebuck, Ottinger, Swayman. This would be my guess. But do you have to have another guy just in case one of those guys goes down?
How big of a roster can they have?
Well, I thought I heard yesterday them talking about 14 forwards. So if you got 14 forwards, you're going to probably have 7 or 8 D, and you're going to have 3 goalies, but you got to have room to add. And supposedly you can add right up until just before puck drop. So in February. So
Do you like that? I don't know if I like that. I think it's more difficult if you can't. Maybe 2 extras. You got 2 extras that are your Black Knights, or what do they call them when they're in
Black
the
Aces.
Black Aces. Yeah, like just maybe, or whatever. But I don't think you should be able to add up. I think you make your decision and you go from there.
Well, I know. I don't know when they're going to get
I know you don't want to
time.
offend
I know. I
anybody.
was like, there's not much going on. Here's where I look at this. They're announcing them on December 4th, right? So that is 2 months plus in front of the event. I'm a little surprised they're putting it out that soon, but they are. So you're not going to look at a lot of these rosters and go, well, I can't believe he's on the team. I mean, they're going off the history of these guys and obviously what they're doing this year. I do think some players have had a tough start that were in consideration for the team. And I wonder if they just put too much pressure on themselves trying to get their game in order to play for their home country. So we'll see what happens. But we'll ask Mallard next week and see what he says. But I would have thought they would have held off another minimum, probably 2 weeks. Then you're getting close to Christmas. If you hold off in the new year, there's logistics, like, family and the rest of it. They probably want to make sure that, and just letting these guys know so they're not pins and needles the whole time. So I don't know what the answer is, but I would have thought they would have maybe held on another week or two before they announced these guys.
You think a week or two makes a difference? I don't know. I
Probably
don't know.
not, but I just look, and that's why you say, well, hey, you're only allowed a couple extras. Well, especially with the way the schedule's gone this year, with all these games being front loaded. I'll give you an example. And Miles Wood in Colorado is not a guy that probably they were considering for the team, but he got injured. Now he's month to month. So do you give yourself a little bit more leeway if you push it back a couple of weeks, or you just go, okay, we've got an opening now. We're and Miles Woods just comes into my head because when I heard the injury report yesterday, you normally day to day or week to week these times. Now when you're month to month, that's a little different scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Month to
week to
month
week
is,
means 4 to 6 to me, right? Maybe 6
yeah.
to 8. Month to month means 3 months.
Also, if somebody's like at month to month, how soon do you like they're coming back basically around that time? I know they're good, but still, don't they need at least a week or so to get back in the groove? You want to put somebody into a tournament like that?
Yeah, I don't think you do. And the other thing, like with Flats being here the other night, we saw Flats.
Oh, we forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Flats was in.
Did you have fun with your friend?
Yeah, I did actually. It was good.
Good.
Actually, I
Good.
think Mallard had more fun with him than I did because we saw him before the game and talked to
Goalies.
him for about half an hour. And Mallard was all fired up about goalie stuff and this and that. Of course, Mallard knows every person in the league, so he can talk about it. But like we didn't get into it, but obviously, the Four Nations, Hellebuck is got to be right. He's got to be their guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what I think. So my question to Flats was, okay, so they take Hallie, right? They take Hellebuck. How does that affect you playing them? Because Winnipeg got off to a great start. They've leveled a little bit, but they're going to be right in the mix with Minnesota for sure is there now.
Hmm.
Colorado's sniffing. Dallas is right there. So, you have an issue because a lot of guys are going to get a 2-week break in February, but these all-stars, these superstars are not. And if Hellebuck's the guy for the US Team USA, and he plays, what are they playing? 4 or 5 games or 4 games, I guess, maybe
4 to
5. Let's
6, right?
see. Yeah, they're playing 3 for sure, and then go from there. So say he plays in 3 or 4 of those games. That's high intensity. That's like really, really, I mean, you're playing for your country. All these guys are
It's
going to be going,
basically one round of a playoff, right?
yeah, pretty close, right? But
Yeah.
you're not. I mean, the adrenaline for being a part of that for 2 weeks has got to be off the charts, right? And if you're Hellebuck or anybody else, this is the stepping stone. You want to establish yourself. So when Team USA, Team Sweden, Team Finland, Team Canada calls you, are starting to call numbers for the Olympics, your numbers on their speed dials. So
Hmm.
this is a really big deal. And what I'm just getting at is with the amount of hockey and Hallie plays a lot of games, there's more pressure on a team that's sending guys, especially a goaltender, because Boston needs to play Swayman, Winnipeg needs to play Hellebuck, and then Dallas is going to play Ottinger. These guys are used to carrying a heavy load. They don't really get a break this year. Like they don't get the All-Star break where they can kick it for a few days and everything kind of comes down and reset. And this actually, when we talk about a springboard to the Olympics, this could serve as a springboard for the rest of the year, and these guys could just keep on elevating their game
Right.
and be even better than they are. So, I'm just saying,
Did he say that Winnipeg winning all those games at the beginning kind of gives him a little bit of a buffer for when he comes back, where they can rest him for 2 games or a week or whatever, and go with I'm blanking on, is it Brissot? There's their backup. No, it
no,
isn't. It's
Comrie.
Comrie. Yeah.
So,
And
I
how did
mean,
what did you think of Comrie in that game?
I really liked him. I really
Yeah.
like Comrie. If you look, these like he gets thrown to the wolves. I mean, what are you going to do though? You come out, you play Nashville, then you go to this is Winnipeg's road trip. Nashville, then they went to Minnie, right? So you play Hellebuck there. Then they go to
Yeah.
LA, right?
Yeah.
And so
And then to
Hellebuck
Dallas.
plays again. So you got to find a place, and then you come to Vegas, and then you go to Dallas. So you have another division game. You got to get Comrie in there somewhere. So I wouldn't say you threw him to the Wolves here, because you could say the same thing about playing him in LA or in Dallas or even Mini.
He's not getting an easy one no matter what.
That's a real brutal road trip. And so I really like the way he played. He's played phenomenal for them. He hasn't got a lot of, as they say, run support. But he more than like I thought he was top caliber here on Friday night. And actually, to be honest with you, it's the best game I saw all year at T-Mobile. Just the ebb and flow of the game, Winnipeg's ability to keep coming back, and then Vegas's ability to be able to find another, just that extra step. And that's where's really the difference in the game, is just basically one bounce. But Winnipeg, if they're healthy, are going to be a handful when it comes playoff time.
They sure are. They sure are. My goodness.
Hey,
we only want what's that?
I'm going to talk about Dallas really quick too, because our friend Pete DeBoer is coming to town on Friday. They're in LA tomorrow night. Dallas is starting to get their game back together too. They, even though and their goaltending was great between Ottinger and Smith, Dallas is starting to turn the water off on goals against. Like, they're just going, okay, we've watered the lawn enough. You got enough water. And Dallas is one of those teams that they got to be so hard to game plan for, because of the way they play. They just, like Edmonton comes at you, like, and you got McDavid and Draisaitl, and Edmonton's definitely diversified their game. But, as another top echelon team, but you kind of know, like, you're like, we better spin this thing up for Draisaitl and McDavid to make sure, we're ready to go.
Whereas there's no secrets.
Yeah. You kind of know coming in what you're going to get from Edmonton, or at least
if you're shocked by Edmonton, you really be putting it together, right?
Exactly. And
I didn't see that coming. Who's that Draisaitl?
Who's that 97? But then you look at Dallas, and they can get you a lot of different ways, and their goaltending's so good. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. But that Central is going to be such a dogfight.
Are you working that game?
Yeah, I do. Dallas. I had that one circled. I was going to that one anyways, and now I'm working it on Friday. So I'm really lucky, right? I got Winnipeg, just got to see Flats. I love to watch Winnipeg. And then Edmonton tonight, which is ESPN, or which will be last night when this airs. And then they go to Anaheim, who is 5-2-1 in their last 8. So look out for Anaheim. And then come in home for Dallas, which is kind of, they're in a stretch here right now where you're like, the Knights are, at least, where you're playing 3 of your 4 games are against teams that have the exact same aspirations of you. And you can say all 32 want to win the cup. I get that. But Winnipeg's, they're built for the cup. Edmonton's built for the cup. Vegas is built for the cup. And Dallas is built for the cup. And now Anaheim is starting to feel good. They're trying to get, out of the middle lane, and they want to get over into the fast lane here too. And they're trying to figure it out. So
they're actually doing better than the Columbus and Anaheim are both doing. They're no longer, and even San Jose, they're no guaranteed wins anymore.
Let me ask you, and I think it's the last 4 games, but it might be the last 5. I think it's the last 4 games. How many goals has San Jose scored in the last 4 games? Just take
4
a
games.
guess.
I think it's 14 or something like that. It's something stupid because they had a blowout, right? They've
scored. Okay, you can talk all you want about
it.
But no, I'm
the one that's not. I'm not the one that looks at all the numbers. I'm not.
Gary Ann would be so proud. Look at Jeff cutting Ian off. God bless him.
Just tell him to shut up, Jeff. He talks too much.
I think it's 24, 25 goals in their last 4 games for the Sharks. Thanks for coming.
14 is high.
Yeah, 14's like, you're like, if you're scoring 14 goals in 4 games, you're like, okay, we're going to win 2 of those for sure, and probably 3, right? You're probably going to go, you could go 2-0-2, or you could go 3-0-1 in that, or you could go 3-1 something.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get points out of 3 of those 4 games. So they're just scoring
24, 25, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what's great? And they lost all 4 games.
They beat Seattle.
Their goaltending suspect.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they said they beat Dallas. I mean, they beat Seattle twice, right?
and
Who
they
else did
beat
they play?
Ottawa. I think they beat our Ottawa. I can't remember, but I gotta look. We gotta give the Sharks some love though. And here's another.
How about Utah? They need some love too.
Well, good. And Utah came into Vegas the other night, and Vegas has had a good run in 8 years. Like, there's no question
Hmm.
about it. They've had their share. But Utah, if I'm remembering this correctly, that organization, Arizona, they made the playoffs twice in 25 years or something. They were there, however long they were there. They hardly ever made the playoffs. So they came down here the other night, and they've been on the wrong end of the score a lot. And they had a night where they were on the right end of the score. And I watched them again last night against Dallas, and they just couldn't put it by to Smith, but they had lots of chances. So that's a good team. I'm going to ask you a question. Where is Columbus? We're just going to play, and I'm not saying this is factual.
Oh God.
Where is Columbus in
I'd say this
goal
is
scoring
factual.
this year in the league?
Um,
Like,
Goal scoring,
yeah,
probably
like
like
it from 1 to 32. Where would you put Columbus?
I would put them probably at like 16.
Yeah, so I think they're in the top five. They might even be top
What?
one. They might be second in the league for 5-on-5 goals. Yep, 4. I should have prefaced
No
that a little
way.
bit differently. Yeah, their
Now
five
you
on
gave me
five is
32
crazy.
chances, and why would I put Columbus over 10 spot? Like there's
Yeah,
just no way.
no
And
way.
they are, huh?
Yeah,
Huh.
and
Good for
so
them.
great story. So the guys, and you were, what show were you on? Were you on The Point with the NHL Network? Remember Sirius? You were on one of them, weren't you?
I was on a couple of them. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember which
So,
ones. I'm
anyways, I
doing a
was
lot of
listening to those
it.
guys yesterday, and it's not like I dug in and did the stats, but I was like really impressed. And when I watched
Is
Columbus,
that where you're getting all this knowledge? I was wondering where you're pulling this knowledge from. Like, I'm just like, wow, he's been really studying this week. I was like,
hey, when you
no
go to
fun.
the rink, you got about 45 minutes there that you can listen to what's going on. And I was like, I was dumbfounded. I'm like, wow, there's some stats, San Jose stat and the Columbus stat. And so what they're saying is it finally the tipping point for these teams that have had a tough go for so long? Is it finally starting to swing in their direction? Is San Jose, Anaheim, Columbus? Is it finally? And I sure hope it is because they've had a rough go. So, and I'm really, we talking to remember we talked to our friend Aaron Teets there with the Anaheim
Tweeter.
Ducks,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're putting a ton of money in around the pond, or the Honda Center, I guess it is. Is it the Honda Center still? What do they call it?
It's the Honda Center. Yeah.
Yeah, the Honda Center in Anaheim. They're putting a ton of money in there. They want people to come down there, so they want to have a good product on the ice, and it looks like they're trending up. So,
We're
but
gonna have a good
personally, you
product
got to
off the ice
pull.
and on the ice. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you want to make it a real event, and then I really like to see Columbus keep rising. And kudos to Dean Evison. So he's done a great job.
He has done a great job. All right, let's get
Yep.
going. You got to get going. You got the game tonight, so you got to get going.
It was just a pregame. So I got to get on the ice first
Just the
for 4 hours,
pregame.
and
Just the
then
pregame. I'm not even going to shower for it. It's just the pregame.
the it's on ESPN tonight, national broadcast. So that's the thing
Ooh.
when you're the Oilers. Oilers are on national TV as many times as it can be during the year, and I think it's 12 or 13 times, and
Hmm.
Vegas is there too. So this is one of the nights. I think they play 4 times this year, and I think 3 times are on the national feed. So
So, are you guys in studio or are you in
yeah,
T-Mobile?
no, we're in studio. We don't go back to the rink until Dallas comes in on Friday. So it'll be this is done offsite at CNA where the Knights practice, where they have their studio, and then the next night are obviously on the road, so we do it there again. And then
Fun.
we're T-Mobile is so much fun, and you should have come down. You could have gotten in the picture we're going to put up with me, Mallard, and Flats. You could maybe we'll just airbrush you in the back.
No, just make me just put a picture of me, my sad afterwards by myself, no one around me. Enjoy yourself, guys. I'm just by myself. Blah, blah, blah. Blah,
I'm
blah,
stuck
blah.
in traffic in Ensenada. Is that no? Is that
Ensenada.
is it not Ensenada? Is it no? What's that? Escondido. Ensenada's
Escondido.
over the border, isn't it?
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I'm over, I've really missed my stop.
Hey, if you're on the bend in the road in Ensenada, then you're in real trouble.
And by the way,
Escondido. Sorry,
by the way,
people from
by the
Escondido.
way, no traffic. Like got there smooth, no traffic at all. I guess I just timed it just right. Not one slowdown.
How about coming home?
Smooth.
Hey, we'll just talk about LA traffic for 1 second because I brought this up maybe
You don't
years
know
ago.
when you're going to be stuck in. Don't plan.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason, but you
No.
are going to be stuck at some point.
10:30, 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, driving down to your guys' place. It's like, this is going to be great because I know you're up for another 3 hours. So we'll go down and watch the NHL network. And I'm like, stop and go traffic at 10:30 at night on a Sunday. Welcome to Los Angeles on the 405.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do miss those days, but anyways.
Well, get to it. Get switched up.
Yeah, I'll switch it up. All right, go ahead with the shout outs.
No, you got me. Okay, the shout outs. The hospital opened up in Terrace a couple weeks ago, and everybody's loving it. It's fantastic. We will be going up to do a fundraiser in I think April. We got to get the dates right. Trying to get the enjoying orange slices up there as well. Do a stand-up show, do a podcast, raise a little money for the NICU. So big shout out to the people in Terrace raising money so they have even more advanced for the children up there. So big shout out to Terrace raising money for the old people. I don't even know what that's a shout out over. That was just a humble brag.
Yeah, well, somehow we're gonna come up and make you laugh. Yep, I'm coming.
We're gonna raise money. Go ahead, have your children. We'll fix your kids. My name's Ian Bagg.
Well, you used to tell people you were better than them because you were on TV. Now you can tell I'm better than you because I know an astronaut.
I know. I keep my head in the clouds. I used to know a pilot, and then I just took it up another 4,000 nautical miles. I don't know. I think that's a little bit much. I think that puts me on the moon.
You're out by Mars, maybe Saturn, Jupiter. Okay, so you know who I'm going to shout out? I'm going to shout out Ashley Weiss.
Okay.
Because Ashley is now she's the rinkside reporter for the Golden Knights. She is so nice, but she's starting to work national games with TNT. She does a great job with the Golden Knights, and I'll be doing the pregame show with her tonight, which when we listen to this will be last night. And so she's going to help guide me through that. So I always like spending time.
No Mallard?
Mallard's getting a night off, healthy scratch.
No way.
Yeah, they're giving him. They're like, I think he's going to be at the game, but they're like, it's you and Ashley tonight. So I was like, okay. So I'm shouting out Ashley. Ashley, a shout out for you, because she's so good and she does such a great job, and she's one of the nicest people I know. So shout out to Ashley Weiss. I couldn't really back up. I had to go. Like you just totally took everything with the Terrace Hospital, which I think is it's community changing. But I'm going to go with Ashley because she's everything good with hockey.
That's the difference. That's the difference between me and you. Is I'm all about the community. You're like, well, let me tell you about my career.
Yeah. Okay. Loved all.